Shalom and good evening, everyone. I want to first put a shalom to the bride of the Messiah, a shalom to the 144,000, and a shalom to the nation of Israel. And I also like to bid a shalom to all the nations/tribes of the earth. I'm coming with you because it's dealing with this morning's word, the word that the Father gave unto me to speak unto you this morning. It'll be a continuation from that word because the word Zion stuck out unto me when we read Psalms chapter 53 this morning. And this will be one verse we shall look at because this one verse is saying a lot. Small but deep. Okay, let's open up. Let's first read this verse. I'm reading out of the book of Isaiah chapter 1. We shall look at this evening at verse 27. Zion shall be redeemed with judgments. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. I want y'all to meditate on this because this is saying a lot because this is the season we are in. Okay? Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. Now, those who have been following the channel already know or is aware of this. When you read 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 18 through 19, you will learn we are in the season of where Zion has fulfilled her years of affliction. It has been fulfilled, y'all. It has been confirmed by the government of the United States of America. It has been confirmed by the signs in the heaven, and it has been confirmed by the signs in the earth, where you've been seeing a lot of civil unrest going on now. For within the 400 years under the English rule in this land, my people has been constantly oppressed and constantly fighting for justice. And now we're seeing, now it's at the boiling point, y'all. The signs are there. We can see what Satan is doing. And a lot of y'all are asking, why, Father? Why is this happening? Why are you allowing evil to come upon us, especially in the state of slumber now? But on the channel, when you go to the community section, you will see many messengers now that he's using in this day and time, whether they are Israelites and Gentiles. They are speaking out, letting you know the why. Okay? And this is why I'm telling y'all need to prepare. I'm not talking about a physical preparedness, because when you talk with the Father and you meditate, you will learn from him that you cannot totally prepare for this thing that is coming. Okay? The preparedness that I'm talking about is dealing with a spiritual preparedness. You need to prepare your mind, body, and soul for what is coming, because now there's going to be a great division taking place. A great division coming. All right, let's go back to this verse. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 27. It says, Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. Okay? Now we know redeem means to be restored back to your proper place, or to be put in a position where you can be received by the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? So it said here that Zion shall be redeemed or shall be restored. But how we are restored, do you hear me, Israelites? Because when we talk about Zion, we know Zion represents Israelites, also known as Hebrews or Hebrew Israelites or Jews. Okay? As you study, the book, which is the King James 1611, and many other sacred scrolls, you will see the judgments upon us. Because this past week when we read, I think it was Isaiah 53 with the cup of wrath, how it was given unto the house of Israel first. Okay. Now we're seeing that cup of wrath now it being placed upon all the nations of the earth. Remember what the word tells us. It starts in the house of Israel first, then it goes throughout the whole world. So looking at Zion, we shall be redeemed by judgment. So as you following the news of this world and the news in this country known as America, you're seeing our brethren being killed, they're being oppressed. You're seeing protests that will lead to civil unrest. It will lead to a civil war, y'all. We can see that's coming, okay? So, but you have to really see, as a prophetess has shared unto us, prophetess Deborah, that you got to see what's behind the scene. You got to see what is the ultimate plan here. And our Father has given us the word, letting us know that these things are to come, they are to happen, but you need to get connected to them, to the Elohim head, to know what you must do in these times. Okay? You need the Spirit to guide you. And the only way to be guided, the only way to be guided in this, Shalom, is by receiving salvation. And just to keep this short, the mystery of salvation is to receive his son, what was said in the beginning. Like I said, when we read in that seal book, the seal book revealed many things that was set in the beginning with our father Adam. We have to receive his son. Okay? So our Father in heaven is going to redeem Zion with judgment. And y'all, these judgments are not easy to swallow. And a sister reached out to me today when she heard the word on on Psalms 53. And she shared with me Psalm 74. Because, we all ask that question, Father, how long? But we have to see our Father plan. He also has a plan within the plan, okay? So he is redeeming Zion through judgments, okay? And then it goes on to say that her converts with righteousness. So Zion converts with righteousness. That means that she's going to be change, or she's going to return back unto him in righteousness. Again, that's the mystery on that. You have to read Romans chapter 10 and Psalms 98, because when you understand who is the salvation of God, who is the righteousness of God, do you understand? It goes back to the beginning. He was there with our Father when he made the world, and all things began with him, and all things shall end with him. You have to receive his son to be in righteousness. As the book of Job is a testimony unto us Israelites and Gentiles. It's a testimony unto us. It's an example unto us that we cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven by your righteousness. It goes back to what was established since the beginning, even with our father Adam, because we learned about the true church that was established in Zion, the true priesthood, okay? We learned about that a couple weeks ago through that sealed book, y'all. So we know that was established in the beginning, and then it was reestablished after the flood. But if you know what the power of darkness have always done, like he did with Cain, and after the flood, and even now, they are coming with a false church, a false light, misleading the sons of Adam. All right? So, Zion, you're probably wondering, well, why are we heavily penalized and not our brethren who are the sons of Adam? Remember, when you understand the beginning, then you understand the present and what yet to come. We are penalized because we are the people of the covenant. And within us, we carry the power of the holy people. Okay? And through us, we are the ones that can lead the sons of Adam back to the Father. Okay? That's a mystery on that. And I'll give y'all some verses this evening on that as well. See what else to say on this. So Zion shall be what return or change back with righteousness now. Just I say, this I was telling unto y'all, the Father know what he's doing in this, y'all. Yes, it hurts. Oh, it hurts what we're going through. But it has to be done. Okay? Now I'm going to take y'all quickly to Isaiah, not Isaiah, I keep wanting to say Isaiah. We're going back to the Songs 53. Songs 53. Because I did have to rush a little bit this morning to give that word, but I want to make sure that y'all go back and read it and meditate, because it's going to confirm again why he had to redeem Zion by judgments. And through these judgments, it's going to what push her, lead her to become righteous. And how she become righteous? She has to receive YAHUAH HaMashiach, that promised seed, who is the Son of God. He was the one that was preached by our ancestors, and you will learn about the priesthood of the Son of God, or the church of the Son of God, was always established, not established, but was passed from a righteous lineage, such as Adam, Abel, Seth, then fast forwarding it down to Noah. Then after the flood, through Shem, then through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which has been who has become Israel. He was anointed by our Father. Okay, and through that lineage, we will have what the promised seed to come. That was in the beginning. Okay, he's the witness of all things. And when he came, he restored us back unto the Father. He restored what we lost in the beginning. I tell y'all, it's a mystery in that. And it breaks my heart that my Israelite brothers and sisters are missing that mystery because of how you are blind, how you are still in those stumbling blocks that Satan has set before you. These emotions we are feeling, sometimes we have to put it to the side. We have to meditate. We have to ask the Father to give us understanding of these things. Why are they so? Why must they be? To see the true picture, to see what's really going on, because we're blinded by a lot of common things, y'all. We forget about these principalities. We forget about Satan. And when you learn about Satan, he is very cunning. He's very clever, y'all. He's very wise. And we cannot deal with him. Not in the state that we're in now. We are in a fallen state, okay? The only one that can overcome him is YAHUAH HaMashiach. This is why I said everything begins with receiving salvation. It starts there first, okay? All right, now we're going to look at Psalms 53. Some things that stood out. I'm not going to read the whole chapter like I did in the first video. Go to the first video. I just want to point out some things. Now we look at verse 2 and 3. YAHUAH is looking down from heaven to see if anybody truly is seeking him, or if any of his children truly understand him. Again, I tell y'all, when you receive his son, which was established in the beginning, it was that spirit that was placed in us, that made us the son of God, that helped us to have his wisdom, his understanding, and his knowledge. When you receive that spirit, you should understand the Father. You will seek the Father, and because of that spirit dwelling in you, you'll be connected to the Father. That way you will know him. And because you are connected to him, you will be in his image. In other words, you will walk like him, talk like him, think like him, do as he do, because we are what? We are his children. We are the sons and daughters of God. Okay? But as the Father looked down from heaven, he's saying unto David, who wrote the book of Psalms, he's saying unto him that his children, Adam, has gone back. Okay? In other words, they have turned away from him. And because they have turned away from him, they have rejected the Spirit. And because they rejected the Spirit, they now has become filthy, and there's no good that can be found in them. Okay? This is really deep, y'all. Very deep. And then as we read further along, when we look at verse 4, and excuse my phone for being shaky here, as we look at verse 4, he talks about the workers of iniquity. Okay, these are evildoers, these are the unrighteous. And the unrighteous goes after his people. Okay, they're like raven wolves, they eat up the people bread. Okay, and let me read this verse. Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Do y'all hear this? When you become out of order, when you're no longer Adam, you have no knowledge. I'm back, y'all. It's all praises to the Father. As you can see, enemy don't want this word to get out, but it will get out this evening. Okay, so the workers of iniquity, because they have rejected his spirit, they have gone into their fleshy ways, and that is a connection dealing with Satan in that too, y'all. I mean, you study deeper and you understand the change that has taken place within you from the beginning when our father and mother ate from the tree of knowledge and good and evil. He says that, is there no knowledge in them? Okay, how can there be any knowledge if they don't have his spirit? All right. Then he goes on to say, who eat up my people as they eat bread. Because the Messiah says this in Isaiah, I think it's 53. He says, evil will not leave good alone, so he had to come. So these workers of iniquity constantly attack his people, go after his people, y'all. All right. They give us no peace. And this verse going to say that who eat up my people as they eat bread, they have not called upon God. Okay. So in other words, they have no connection with the Father. They act like he don't even exist. Okay. Verse 5. So as we read verse 5, what he says that what he's going to do unto them is going to cause a great fear to occur, because there was no fear in them, but what he's going to endure, what he's going to do unto them, he's going to bring a great fear to come. Okay, I have to read verse 5 because I love how it's so put together. It says that there were they in great fear where no fear was. Do y'all hear that? They didn't have fear before, but now they have great fear. And it's going to tell us why. For God has scattered the bones of him that encampeth against you, that encampeth against thee. Okay. You know how it is in military when they about to go in battle? What they do, they bring their camp and they camp against the area where you are located at, preparing for what? Battle. To surround you and to overtake you. Okay, let's go on to read. Thou hast put them to shame. So he's going to put these workers of iniquity to shame because God has despised them. Why do our Father despise them? Because they are doing what? Unrighteousness. They are doing evil. Okay, that's why he despised them. They are not following his ways. They have rejected his spirit and has taken on the spirit of Satan. Remember 1 John chapter 3. There's only two types of people now in this world of darkness. Either you're going to be a child of the light, or you'll be a child of the darkness. This is about spirit, y'all. Do you hear me, Israelites and Gentiles? Okay. Now, this is the verse that really started me, especially with the word Zion. Okay, in verse 6. Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when God bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Do y'all hear that? We can find confirmation in the gospel as well as the Tanakh, which is the old covenant. We know the salvation of Israel is Yahushua HaMashiach. He is the Son of God. He is the second Adam, and he is the Messiah. Greek tongue they say Messias. Okay, means the anointed one, the holy one that our Father has appointed to deliver his people out of this captivity we're in. One of the greatest examples that we have of this, when he went to Sheol, when he went to set the captives free. Songs, Ephesians, Matthew 28, and I think the book of Peter's even talks about that some. To go in further detail, read the book of Nicodemus, known as the book of the Acts of Pontius Pilate. Okay? He had to set the captives free. Remember, y'all, this is what the Father has reminded me now. Remember in Revelation 13, it said that he that lead into captivity said go into captivity. Is saying something deep, because I said, y'all, if y'all understand the beginning, then y'all understand the end, which is Revelation. You understand the left, you understand the tall. Okay? This captivity that the Father is delivering us, because a lot of times we focus on the physical captivity that we are in this world. But y'all, there's a spiritual captivity that has to be broken. Okay? This is why the Father created Jubilee. Okay? There is a spiritual captivity that he has to deliver Zion out of. There is a spiritual captivity that the Father has to deliver the bride and the 144 out of. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this go deep. And when you understand the one who's working behind the scene that has kept Adam in bondage, read Romans 6. Romans 6, that's what the Father reminded me to tell you. Who had kept Adam in bondage since the beginning, since he fell. You will learn it is he who has taken away your free will. It is he who has caused you to become like an outcast from the Father. All right. It is he who has caused a separation between you and the Creator. Okay. And you know the old saying, misery love company. Now he ought to know what his faith is, his judgment is, but he don't want to go down alone. And he hates you, Adam. He envies you, Adam. Do you hear me, Israelites and Gentile? He envies you. So he does not play fair. He's very crafty, y'all. I mean, he has a nature of a snake, okay? Very cunning at what he does. All right? So his plan is to take you down with him, to take you down to that place of captivity known as Sheol. This is why Revelation 13 said that he that leave into captivity shall go into captivity, that eternal place of captivity. There you have no rest, no peace. You are always in pain, torment. You shall always be in darkness. This stuff goes very deep. Okay? So when we look at verse 6, we know the salvation of Israel, which come out of Zion, is Yahushua HaMashiach. And when this word Zion stuck out to me, y'all, Zion, because I know the Messiah would come on a mount, okay, or a mountain. But this mountain is not of the earth, it is of the heavens. Read 2nd Ezra chapter 13 in the Apocrypha. Read the book of Hebrews. Let me take you to Hebrews right quick, but before we go there, I want y'all to see these verses so you can write them down before we go to the book of Hebrews. I hope my phone can focus. In relation to Isaiah 1, in relation to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 27, I want you to read 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13, Daniel's 11, verse 35, Daniel's 12, verse 10, and to understand about the mystery of the scattering of the power of the holy people, read Daniel's chapter 12, verse 7, Ezekiel 11, Ezekiel 11, verse 16. Okay. Let's see what else they say. Okay. And I'll talk to you about 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 18 through 19, dealing with Zion affliction. But I know this Holy One that's going to restore us back to our proper place. It will come on a mountain out of Zion. And this Zion I'm talking about is not of the earth. It would come out of the heavens. And there's precepts in these in the Bible to give you an understanding about this heavenly Zion. In the sealed book, it elaborates more about this heavenly Zion. But the confirmation unto you that would confirm what I'm saying, read Hebrews chapter 12, verse 22. For it says, "But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels." Okay. So we're going to have the heavenly Zion to come to the earth. Also read Isaiah chapter 11. It is the Messiah who is the ensign, the banner that's on the mount when he comes to the earth. Okay. When he comes to redeem. Okay. When he comes to turn back the captivity that we just read in Psalms 51. Let me see here. Psalms 53, verse 6, right here. For it says that God, YAHUAH, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, bringeth back the captivity of his people. So this captivity will be ending soon, and his son will carry out the earthly judgments that is given unto him to do in the 1,000-year millennium reign. Okay? Let us go on to read. And once this captivity is turned away, it means be no more. Our father Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Read Isaiah, I think it's 14. Again, it relates to, he just pointed into me, it relates to Hebrews 4. Read Hebrews 3 and read Hebrews chapter 4 to understand about this rest, this liberty, this jubilee, okay? This freedom that he's going to give unto us from this captivity that we are in. We shall no longer be bond women or bond men unto Satan. Okay, this is what the new covenant was all about, setting us free from that and to redeem us back to our proper place. Okay, so these verses that I gave for you to write down, going back to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 27, to understand the mystery on, I'm just reading your comment. That's why I got quiet, y'all. Yes. And I'm glad you're reading those other books because you're seeing how all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Okay. So when we look at Isaiah chapter 1, verse 27, because it relates a lot to verse 6. Okay. These two chapters relates a lot. Okay. Now we begin to understand how our fathers think and what he's doing. Even though we're seeing great pain right now, it hurts us to see our people going through this. It hurts us to see our people still in a state of slumber and not knowing who they are. Okay. But most importantly, it hurts us when we don't see them to receive salvation. It also hurts us when we see they don't follow what the Messiah instructs us to do. Okay. So that's what we see in our eyes. But the Father has a way of bringing his people back unto him. I'm telling y'all, he has a plan within a plan. He knows exactly what he's doing for those who was from the foundation, from the foundation of the world since the beginning, before the beginning of the earth. Okay. He knows who are his, those who are destined to be his. So he has a way of drawing you back unto him, because at the end of the day, we don't belong to Satan. Satan did not create us. Satan is not our father. It is Yahuwah. Yahuwah is our Father. He is our God. He is our Creator. He is our all in all. Okay? So when you look at 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13, let us go there now because then we're going to go to 2nd Ezra chapter. First, let us go to let us go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13. Then we're going to hit Daniel 11, verse 35, Daniel chapter 12, verse 10. Okay, but for quiet reading, I want you to read Ezekiel 11, verse 16 and Daniel 12, verse 7, because through our judgment, okay, one of our judgment was what he had to scatter us throughout the four corners of the earth. When he scattered us within our nation, there are the elect, there are those who was chosen, okay, who carry on the priesthood of the Son of God, who carry on the true church of God. And through us, it was to draw the sons of Adam back unto him. I'm telling y'all, the Father had a plan within a plan. And now that we have seen part 2 being complete of the fullness of the Gentiles time has been fulfilled, now we are waiting for part 3 to come when we read those sealed books. Okay, so now let us go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13, because this is what we need to be meditating on, and especially with what's happening on around us. Okay, this is what the Father sent to Ezra. Ezra was asking him questions about the end times, about what would be, why he's allowing these things to happen. And this is what the Father said unto him. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when. So we shouldn't be curious about how the ungodly shall be punished and when it shall take place. Okay, but here's what the Father wants us to focus on. But inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. Do you see what he has in store for you, for those that are his, for those who was what? Predestined before the foundation of the world. So some of us have been through a Job. Many of us have been through a Job and still going through it. And it's for a reason, because we belong unto him. And when you read this verse, you will learn how the Father will save you. Okay, and how he will save you. The answer is given by the prophet Daniel. Daniel give us these things. Okay. Thank you, Father. He's reminding me about an article that I posted on my YouTube page, and I also post on my Facebook page. We had a brother who was in prison, who was in prison for 44 years for a crime he did not commit. And to make a long story short, y'all, and I read an article, it does not mention about him being bitter or angry. You know what this brother said? Because see, this brother understood something deeper, y'all. It was a mystery behind that. He said, I was chosen. And he said, I realized because I was chosen to go through this. This is what he said, y'all, and I'm trying to quote exactly what he said, but to paraphrase what he said, if this be the Creator will, then I shall overcome. Do y'all hear this? If this be the Creator will, then I shall overcome. Through that judgment for something that he didn't do, y'all, but through that judgment, that terrible ordeal that wicked people had put upon this brother, it purified him. It changed him to be a child of God. Do y'all see this? So as we read Daniel's 11, this is what the Father is doing unto Zion. This is how the Father will redeem Zion. Daniel's 11, verse 35. And some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end. Do y'all hear that? This is going all the way up to the time of the end, to the time of the tall, because it is yet for a time appointed. See, it may seem a long time unto y'all, but the Father knows what He's doing because He has to save His people. Okay? And we have to be patient and understand how the Father works because we want our brethren to be saved. We want our sisters to be saved because we know what's waiting for them in Sheol, and we know that Sheol will be cast into the eternal lake of fire. Sheol is the Hebrew word for hell. Okay? And that was a place that the Father made for the rebellious angels. He didn't make that place for Adam, but because Adam would not listen, and because Adam has turned his heart from him and has given an ear to Satan, our Father in heaven has no choice but to send those who choose to follow Satan, or who choose to listen to Satan, or who choose to do evil and wickedness. He has no choice but to send them there. Okay? Because you know in his kingdom to come, he will no longer put up with these things anymore. He's going to restore what he originally created. Okay? Everything will be made anew. New heaven, new earth, new language, new names. He's taking us back to what he originally put into place from Adam to be. Okay? All right. Now we're in Daniel chapter 12. We're going to look at verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried. Now, when we hear the word white, please do not get it confused with skin pigmentation. Has nothing to do with that. When you go back and study the language, you will learn it's the Hebrew word for Laban. And when you learn about Laban, he represent a righteous act that he did. Josephus talks about that. Jubilees talks about it as well. Also, when you look at the word white in Songs of Solomon, which is dealing with the Messiah in chapter 5, the word white in Hebrew is sach. This word white has to do with righteousness. Okay? It goes to something deeper that Adam has lost in the beginning. Okay? This is why in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 4, it says unto us, we shall attain a crown of glory that shall never fade away. You need to ask yourself, what was the image of Adam and Eve before they fell? What was the covering upon them before the change take place? See, we know what the change was. The change was that we became what? Flesh. Does he not say these things about Israel? That's right. That's right. It's the light of glory. Does he not say these things about Israel in the book of Psalms, that how they could not understand him because they was what? In the flesh. See, there's a change that has to take upon you to understand the Father, to understand the Son, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? So, looking at verse 10 again, but the wicked shall do wickedly, like they're doing now. They coming at us, they're killing us, they are imprisoning us. For some, for things they have not done. For some, they are giving them way too much time for things they committed. We can see the injustice. Okay, so no, the wicked is still going about doing what they've been doing. Okay, but this verse going to say that, and none of the wicked shall understand. See, they're looking at us about, huh? They trying to figure out, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? I know what it is now. Thank you, Father. They're trying to figure this out. In other words, they've been doing this for so long, y'all. They think there's no God. They don't think he don't see. They don't think he is coming back. Okay? They thinking that they can continue to go on in this wicked state. Okay? And they so caught up within themselves because the spirit of pride is upon them, the spirit of lust is upon them, and many other spirits. And these spirits all come from Satan himself. Okay. So because these spirits are upon them, they can't see what's happening around them. All right. Remember, they do not have the knowledge of God. They do not have his wisdom nor understanding either. So they are in a state of darkness. They in a state of being what's the word? I think it's stupor. They're in that dumbfounded state right now. But yet they think they have the upper hand. They think they're going to win this battle that Satan has deceived them into believing. Okay? Remember, I told y'all some of us is going to have to die in this. But because of our faith, we know death is the beginning. It is not the end. All right? We believe in the first resurrection. We believe that we're going to receive eternal life. And this is why the word telleth unto us, do not fear the one that can kill the body, but fear the one that can destroy the body and the soul in Sheol. Okay? So we need to fear our Father in heaven and not fear Satan and his children, despite of the great pains and sorrows and torments they put upon us. Believe me, the Father's going to take care of that. That day is coming. But what is most important that he wants us to do, y'all, and focus on is our salvation. Making sure we have received his son. Making sure that we listen to what his son say unto us. Making sure that we follow his spirit. Making sure that we don't fall into the snares and the traps that Satan and his children has set for us. Because they are cunning at what they're doing, y'all. Because misery loves company. They don't want to be alone in Sheol, right? Okay, let me see what part I need to read now. But it goes on to say, but the wise shall understand this. So now we are coming to a season where we're beginning to understand these things, y'all. We're beginning to see why these judgment is upon us. Especially guys, do you hear what the word is saying unto you? Now we are beginning to see why these judgments, or we can say these curses are upon us. It's for a reason. The Father knows what he's doing. And I thank him because y'all, if he didn't scatter us, we would probably been stagnant where we at. We were never guided. And then the battle would have been lost to Satan. But the Father said, no, I have to save my children. This may hurt a bit, but it's going to do you some good. It's going to make you to become what I made you to be. And that is Adam. So I close out with this verse tonight. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 27. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. That day is coming, y'all. Continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10. And baptize them in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. For the Lamb, the Holy One, the Promised One, he set the example. He is the second Adam, is he not, y'all? He set the example of the water baptism and the Holy Spirit baptism. And his apostles continue to both. Do not be shaken. Do not lose your faith. For Satan is trying to shift you. This is the time now to get connected to the Father, to meditate, to pray, and even to fast. And remember, there's two types of fast. There's a physical fast of the delights of this world, but then there's a fast that's deal with how to love thy neighbor as thyself. I believe read Isaiah chapter 56. It gives you the true fast that the Father looks for us to do. Because it goes back to the greatest commandments. And these greatest commandments are the foundation of all the laws and the prophets. Okay? Because if you can love thy neighbor as thyself, then you can love God. If you can love God with everything you got, with body, mind, soul, and spirit, then you can love your neighbor as thyself. Them two go hand in hand. because does not they abide in us? So if they abide in us, should we mistreat one another? No, we will love one another in the way our Father in heaven instructs us to, for he set the example. And we have to follow our Father, for we are made in his image. Shalom.